Yeah, buddy. Look at this. I feel like Miley Cyrus right now.
Hey, all right.
Going, gentlemen.
You can never have too many mics, right? You know what I mean? So
I don't know. Like I said, you know, I kind of rock the MIC, you know, as I did this demonstration here yesterday on FPVLive.tv. Look at that, huh?
Look at that, dude.
When, you know,
takes a lot of talent.
You spend a lot of time with a mic in your hand, or
yeah, no
look
kidding.
at that, huh?
You're good, man.
Cowboy
I'm not
to
even
the
attempt
core.
that. I'll destroy the microphone I've got in my hand.
As we go live on the Zoom in less than 5. So first one to that gate, Night Fury, Adam 20, Ryan Wilby as we go up in the air. This is exciting right now as we're doing a countdown, it looks like, for Jason. I'm watching on FPVLive.tv, and they're saying, no, he did not get off. So our first one being counted out on our takeoff mat as Tori's going to run him off to the side. But that's why we do it rocket round. It is your best of the 3. It is your best round of the 3 as you're trying to get 5 laps in, an average of 37.499. As, again, things are getting real here. We're going to be awarding some stuff. A Buddy RC hat to Brett Rogers. You're going to get a Buddy RC hat. Congratulations. Yeah, we're just handing out all these random prizes throughout the day from our great partners who are not random by any means. A 48.0 opening lap for Adam 20. Adam A 20. He is the guy on race band number 6 who is just flying his way through that vessel run section over to the top of our sky bridge. Watching Ryan as well crossing over with a 61 and 3. And Night Fury up high in the sky, getting a little loosey-goosey in that air bridge section as through the lower section on lap number 2, we have Adam A 20. Night Fury off in that carousel section and into a gate. He will go down over to our gate onto lap number 3. We have Adam A. So he's got 2 laps in. His average 41.690 after the 2 as we have Ryan working on lap number 2. Ryan flying smooth, and we are down to 1. It's race band 6. Tune in on goggles. It is awesome as we have lots of time here on the clock. Every one of our pilots with their own individual race clock that officially starts when they cross over the line. So as we watch, oh no, black screen of death. So right now, your TQ time, 2 laps, 129.7 for Adam A. He's on the board. Ryan with 1 lap, 101.
Mr. Greg Novosad, go Drone X, brother. How are you doing? All right. It's kind of a wonky chair. You have to kind of lean up against it. And I apologize.
What does wonky mean?
Wonky means it is not stable at all. Willy wonky. Unfortunately,
these are nice.
What do you think of those, man?
I think they're sexy.
Yeah, they are.
You know, as far as trophies go.
This will go on the kitchen table if you're married, right? Absolutely.
Actually, it reminds me of one of the dates I had with my wife. Just for messing with her. It was literally a first date. I made her dinner at my house, and I set a large floral arrangement right in front, and then purposely.
Did you?
Pretty funny. Finally, she's like, "Okay, can we move this out of the way?"
Yeah, please. Yeah. So what's going on, man? You did a great job. So let me kind of cue this up. So Greg Novosad is an integral part of MultiGP's execution on the design of these tracks. Let me tell you, man, you put some thought into the design of all these tracks, without a doubt. We can see your hand, especially in this championship course. So you did a presentation at the chapter organizers meeting, which was a private meeting for all the MultiGP chapter. It was the summit, right? The first ever, where we get together and we share ideas, we talk about concepts, we talk about racing, and how do we further the sport and make it more legitimate and acceptable for the masses, right? So let's talk about that real quick. What elements, in other words, your background and your passion for this racing, give us a little perspective on that.
Yeah, my background, for as far as racing goes, is I used to race cars.
Yep.
I used to race sports cars. I used to race open wheel cars.
Okay.
Learned a lot about that, and I patterned Go Drone X after that experience.
Yep.
I learned that there's really 2 or 3 different types of racers. There's your hardcore pro racers.
Yeah, man.
And then there's your club racers, and then there's that in-between group. And what we wanted on that in-between group, effectively was we wanted a well-run event.
Right.
We wanted timing.
Yep.
And we wanted we would drive about 2.5 to 3 hours for an event if it was well-run and good courses.
Right. Absolutely.
And one of the things that we learned is courses. So one of the courses we used to drive to that everybody hated that we loved was Groton up in Michigan.
Oh, really? Okay.
And we were driving these Formula Mazdas, these open-wheel cars.
Yeah.
And it was the farthest drive for all of us, but we all went there.
Okay.
And then when I started surveying the RC car guys,
Right.
I said, how far will you guys drive for a good course or for a good event? And then he always said, an hour and a half, no problem.
Right.
About 2.5 hours, that gets us there and back in the same day. So
Yep.
that's how we patterned it all.
Yeah.
That's how we structured a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the key element is a good course, right? I mean, something that is not necessarily an obstacle course, but allows you to have some fast components, but also some skill and agility components, right?
Right.
So let's talk about real quick some of those components of this championship course, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the championship, all the credit on this course goes to Chris. I take no credit for this. It's all
But there's elements of things that you incorporate at Go Drone X, absolutely an influence. So.
True, but don't forget, all I did was just steal every idea that I've ever learned from
That's
every
right.
other form of
and then
racing.
execute it, right?
Right,
Yeah.
from
yeah,
I used to ski race, too.
Hey, the best
so.
ideas are stolen ones, right?
Right.
That's what Steve Jobs said, right?
Well, and in business, too, you always steal ideas from other industries and bring it in.
And that's the key, right?
That's
so,
how you innovate with
and that's a way for us to, as far as the sport is concerned, is to move forward in maturity, right? Is apply those elements that are tried and true, and absolutely can be applied to racing today. So it looks like we got a race going on there, Greg. So hold tight for me real quick.
8, and we still have 8 in the air. And as I look on what I call the 8 up off of our DVR, what am I watching? SD.
Oh man, I love that right there. See that?
Crystal clear video in this
that?
gorgeous RF environment that is RF free here at the AMA
Chasing.
headquarters, our home of the national championships. I'm watching 3 working their way through this section underneath our sky bridge. Are you ready?
This is
was
incredible.
about third.
Some
I
good
think
racing.
pushed himself up to the front.
Great chasing.
And also Critwell quick as well. I mean, everyone here, all 8 are going to finish their opening lap and push themselves onto lap number 2. Anything can happen. Beast mode, first one to the gate with a 41.3. Sparky MJ 42.7. FPV Provo with a 46.2. Sid FPV with a 47.8. Brain Drain 49.5. Are you ready with a 50.2? Critwell with a 57.0 and Nubs with a 57.8. 16 seconds separating them, but we started with 8 and all 8 getting 1 lap in. Then we lost 2, but we are making things happen. We're filling that bracket each and every heat as we work our way up the ladder. 41.3, the fastest time so far in qualifying. 36.980, the hot lap of the day with Jet. And looking at beast mode, he went down, and also the guy running in there 2, Sparky MJ, went down. So the guy was running in the 3, FPV Provo, went down. And so now those are running a little lower now, getting a little higher as Sid FPV crosses onto lap number 3. He's got a 47.9, a 41.9. He's getting sequentially faster, and he is definitely your guy to watch here. Onto another lap we go with Critwell with a 48.6 that time around. Let's put another one onto lap number 3. That's Brain Drain. He's a 49 and a 58, but he's got 2 laps in. There's Nub, one of the 2, and with a 57.4 his second lap. Are you ready with a 68.8? So that second round we lost 2. Everyone got longer, but you know what? They're just getting those laps in here in heat number 2. Now 2.5 minutes is where it expires. 15 seconds until we wave a checkered at that gate, and I think Sid FPV is going to get some damage done as he's on lap number 4, and I think he'll get his 4 in to take that TQ spot here for the moment. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. That's on the master race clock, but pilots keep going until I say that you are done as we get ready to round out that clock here for all of our pilots. Across the line, Critwell, you're done. You missed it by 2.8. 3 laps in 2:32, and I think that is going to put you about second in the order as we're going to get our first guy with 4 in. Are you ready? Got 3 in. Nub, you're done. You got your 3 in. And watching the guy who's still in the air. There's your TQ for the moment. 4 laps in 2:51 for Sid FPV, the guy who's going to be in the captain's chair after 2 heats in qualifier number 1.
That's amazing. Oh, wow. So that was some good racing right there, man, without a doubt.
Yeah,
so. No kidding.
One of the things you guys can't see that's really cool is Joe's got RC Scoring Pro Up right now, and one of the things it tells us is their progress.
Yeah.
So the progress bar means we know who's should be coming across the line at right about the time that it shows, and that's really useful for saying, not just the FPV feed, but the type of data that we can
exactly,
see to call
and who's
races.
approaching, who's gaining ground on whoever the leader is, or the second place or third place, without a doubt. And that's interesting. Back-to-back laps. If you're gaining 3 seconds, 4 seconds on a pace or something like that, eventually you're going to overcome them at some point, especially if they bump into one of those gates.
Right.
That's all it takes is one single bump to slow them down, and really you overtake them for each position. This has pretty much been a 3-lap course with few exceptions. The fast guys are doing 4 laps. You think we're going to get 5 laps out of this? What's your prediction? Come on.
We were just talking about this. Should it be a 3-lapper or 4-lapper for the top 16, the Super 16? And then, my attitude is ask the pilots.
Yeah,
and then the problem with that is you got to split down the middle.
Well, and the batteries, right?
I
mean, that's the key, right? So I've seen people run anywhere from 1,300 milliamp per hour batteries to 1,800 milliamp hour batteries based on the frame and the layout and the design. X frame, H frame, I frame, the size, the weight. So power to weight ratio always plays a part. We got guys lining up on the pad right now. Again, checking video.
So if you think about it, if we have 40-second laps and we do 3 of those, that's a minute. That's 120 seconds. That's 2 minutes.
Yep.
So if they go a little long, that's 2 minutes and 10 seconds. 3 laps would be fine. There will be no battery sag. There will be nobody crashing out at the bottom of that descend.
Right.
That's where you need that little punch.
Yeah, exactly, man. You need all the amps, without a doubt. So
max amps, baby.
Yeah, baby. That's the way it works.
And
we saw a lot of that on the first day of practices where they were kind of trying to judge. And one thing I noticed is that a lot of it had to do with the angle of the camera. We had 30 degree on up to 45 degree. If you're 45 degrees, you almost have to be upside down. And if you're, and I asked them every last one when I went there and interviewed them in the pilot pits and the flight line, are you throttling up, down through the descent? Well, the ones that were in that situation, higher degree, actually said they were throttling through.
To.
Yeah. But then they've got momentum fighting against them on the upswing because they've only got a few feet to flare out. So what's happening is they're clipping the last 2 gates on early flare. If they flare out too early. On the other guys that are doing 30% at an angle, they're slicing the air. They're keeping their blades into the wind and dropping as fast as they can. They're cutting off the throttles. Exactly what they're doing. So doing a controlled descent. And so it's amazing to see those guys. Jordan Timpkins one that throttles through. 10% throttle, he says, down through the other side of the gate, and he did one of the lap records. So
now imagine doing that without dampened light.
Right.
So if you've ever flown without air mode and dampened light, and you go there, you're just going to go like this.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So all of a sudden now we can actually race.
Yeah, no kidding, right? With control, and that's the key, right? So we got to love flight controllers and the evolution of them at this point, right? They're getting smaller. They're getting faster. We're able to do more computational changes based on the environment or the control inputs. So it's an amazing thing for sure, quads, where they've come from and where they are now today. So
that was one of the things we talked about, spec racing, and if you really want to take quad racing and make it like real car racing, and I'm not saying we need to do that.
Right.
They're different sports.
Right. But it's probably the closest correlation, right?
If you literally lowered your thrust ratios down to 3 to 1, it's like driving a race car in the rain. You literally have to have braking zones.
Yeah, no kidding.
That would be the closest.
So you'd be pulling back on the stick, right?
Oh yeah, you'd do hockey style to actually do braking zones.
Right.
We have no braking zones out there.
Yeah.
We just let off the throttle. And then our dampened light kicks in, slows our, brakes our motors, and that's how we slow down.
Right. And then changing pitch or direction. Now, that's the biggest thing, too, is a lot of people were having a problem coming down the downshoot, the other side of the sky bridge, and then rolling to the right, because you're not only flaring out, right? And so you're at a pitch like this, you're having to literally go to a quick hover, and then you're having to roll to the right immediately to make that first gate. And we've got a series of 5 gates, which is different than the finals course, which was 3 gates in succession, and people were having problems with that. But I got to tell you, they've been doing good.
They have no problem.
Yeah.
And if you've done that carousel, for those of the pilots that have done the 3-gated carousel, the trick is looking 2 gates ahead. So with this, we have 5 gates. There's not a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. Let's get to that gate. Looked like Honey Badger got it, but again, almost like 4 through the gate at the exact same time. We started with 7, and I don't want to jinx them. 7 are in the air right now. Wild Willie, I think the guy leading for track position off to the far side on race band number 2. No, you're all right there, Diviner Greg. You can sit wherever you like. You can take over the mic if you want. You are VIP every race. You know how it is. Watching Wild Willie. Look at this. Ooh, he's got company up there with Vango. Vango's fast. He's one of the wing guys. We've watched him, all these major races, indoors, outdoors. yours. Wing and Moores. Wow, I talked about some of the mid-airs and Wild Willie going right into the backside. I think of Jared getting faster from it. Wild Willie now trying to catch up a little bit as we get set to bring him around to the gate. There's your first opening lap with Kabla with a 41.69 opening lap. Now remember, to get your 5 in, you need to have an average of 37.499 on the clock. Next across, Willard FPV, Honey Badger right behind him, Cool D right behind him. Look at the separation, 55.8. We have 6 right now. Thank you, FGA. That was nice. Bringing goosebumps over here. Watching Wild Racing, bottom left-hand corner here. That's Kabla out through the DR1 section as we go to California here in Muncie, Indiana, up to the top side of it as we get ready to bring them around to that Bessel run, all the way around to our Horizon Hobby Chicane, to our gate. Much more to go with just under a minute or minute 5 on the clock. There's a 40.690 on lap number 2 for Kabla, which is going to be about the second fastest lap so far here in qualifying. This is qualifier number 3. As you look to about 55 seconds here on the master race clock, still with a bunch more on the screen, and everyone's still racing. I've never giggled so much. Thank you, Chad. Willard running in the 2 right now. It looks like AKO 490 running in the 3. We are chasing 4 laps and 2:51 on the clock, and still with another 32 seconds to go on that master race clock. Kabla just ripping it. Great lines over to the gate. He's going off to your left-hand side into turn number 1. Watch Kabla, your leader, as he gets ready to go under the sky bridge. Out to that throwback to UTT1, and the Bessel run. UTT3 is section right there. We're using all the components of the championship. Look up high. There goes your leader here for track position, Kabla, down to that descent of the sky bridge into the most difficult turn, that carousel 180 to the right. We take him right there over to, he's got more time on the clock. Looks like he is 30. He's gonna go over. Master race clock has expired. Keep going until you say you're done. Kabla with a 39.9 on that one. So Kabla, it's going to come close to the gate. Will he make it over? It is going to be close. Kabla, you're done. 4 laps, 2:46. That'll put him in the number 1 spot. Pilots, keep going until you say you're done. And there's a nail biter still watching. Oh no, AKO went. AKO, you keep going. You are on your last lap. AKO will get his 4 in. Willard will get his 4 in. And Cool D, you're done 3 laps and 2:59 right now. So we are still live with AKO 490. He is going to slide himself into, I think, about 4th overall in our pecking order. So the course is still hot as we're now starting to fill that grid with our entire field. To the gate, there's AKO 490.
That's it.
4 laps and 3:17.
Partially
that is going to put him unofficially
right
about
there.
3rd. And then is going to round things up here right now in heat number 3 on to heat number 4. Now here is your quick little tee up. Okay. Kabla, your TQ at the moment, 4 laps 166. Sid FPV still in the number 2 spot, 4 laps 171. Willard in the number 3 spot, 4 laps 175. And AKO 490 in the number 4 spot, also with 4 laps in, 4 laps 197. And let's go to heat number 4.
Heat number 4. That was funny. That was funny. We got Final Glide Oz, Chad Nowak taking his shirt off while Joe Scully's trying to call the race. It was hilarious, trying to distract him and take him off his game. And actually, Joe Scully did pretty well with having a half-naked man next to him.
When you need gear, you want it fast. For some vendors, they're okay with half-fast shipping. At Ready Made RC, we're not, and ship more than twice as fast as most other vendors. Don't settle for half-fast shipping. In-stock orders placed before 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, and USPS orders in before noon on Saturdays ship the same day. Get your orders shipped twice as fast with Ready Made RC.
What do you think, huh? Yeah?
Yeah, AK's our local guy. He runs the 4 chapter guys from Central Illinois.
Okay.
He runs the race, runs the timing system, and then when it's his turn to race, he doesn't get out of the director's chair.
Right.
He just drops his goggles on and flies from his spot and puts his ground station in front.
Oh, really?
He's a really good pilot. He's an excellent pilot.
Yeah,
And
obviously. That's great.
artist. Everybody here, of course, is rooting for their local region.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, we got
Sure
the
you're
local
rooting
fans.
for your guys.
Absolutely.
You
You
got Willard.
Willard,
Those are your
yeah,
studs.
Willard. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, we've got about 3 or 4 that we're rooting for.
And
this is what
Nubs,
I like
yep.
about this is We hear a lot of the popular names.
Yeah.
We're seeing some new names here.
Man, that's the great thing about it. I love it. So and that's the beautiful thing about a grassroots movement is we go from the backyard, right, to organized racing at the local level, to the state level, to the division level, and now we're here at the national level, and these guys are just slowly but surely working their way up the ranks. First ever largest scale series that is going to net some amazing results, and I'll guarantee you the top 5 people aren't the people that we're going to normally associate with. Right?
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Here, let's ask the people who's watching right now. How many of you guys watching this live stream right now think that our top 3 will be brand new names that perhaps you haven't heard of before?
Boy.
Todd thinks all 5, right?
No, I don't think all 5. So let me correct myself on that because we got some seasoned guys. So I was talking early in the stream that here's the separation. So we got the up-and-comers who doesn't necessarily are veterans of racing in public, right? So you end up with a Scully curse. You know what the Scully curse is? As soon as exactly calls your name, the pressure, the adrenaline pumps, and you start getting twitchy, and takes you down every single time. And that has to do with that veteran aspect. So we got Zach Thayer, who is absolutely comfortable. Jordan Timpkin, Brain Drain, Night Fury, all those guys have raced dozens of races in public, in front of cameras, in front of crowds. Those guys, although they do have a little bit of edge, everybody does, like the butterflies in the stomach, but you know what? They come off that edge pretty quick.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
We're doing rocket rounds, which means we're taking your best round.
Yep.
And when you have your best round, what are we doing? Three rounds.
Three
right?
rounds, yeah.
So by the 3rd round, that edge comes off.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're like, hey, wait a minute. Your competition kicks in.
Yep.
Your skill level kicks in, and we call it red mist in racing.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. We're going back to the race, Joe Scully.
Bits of gill, I think, having some prop issues right there, as I think we have a prop on backwards. Now, remember, guys, this is qualifier number 1. It is your best qualifying effort of the 3. So 32 bits of gill is 2 more chances to put props on in the other direction as we are chasing 4 laps in 2:46. Kablaw, our leader at the top of the board, and that came from heat number 3 as we're working on heat number 4. And, I mean, this is anyone's game as we're watching a battle right now. Falcon X and Archie FPV also aside of McFly. McFly is super fast. McFly over on the top. And there's a noob. He's like, what about me, man? 40.6 to start things off for the reigning DSA champion, ripping it up. The guy who won. And, I mean, all the award-winning efforts from A Noob from Las Vegas at XTC2 over to the Phoenix Cup and even on the island. He's on fire. Archie FPV not too far behind him. FPV also on that lead lap. Davis D, Falcon X, and McFly working it. So we started with 7, and we are down to 5 here on our screen. And it is a battle. And here, A-Noob's like he's got company. A-Noob, I still think your leader as he's out into the Tsunami section, working his way over to the Horizon Hobby Chicane to our TBS checkered onto the next one with a 45.0 that time around. So a 40.6. That was getting away from the traffic. Now with a 45 because he doesn't want to get in one of those situations where he has to start passing some of that lap traffic and having some difficulty. Archie FPV on that lead lap as well on to lap number 3 as we are still with 3 in the air. Falcon X also trying to get some damage done at 50.7 on the first one. Right now we're looking to about, I think, 5 or 6 with their 4 laps in qualifier number 1 thus far. Looking at the master race clock, about 32 seconds still to go on the master race clock, but most of our pilots here with just a little bit more on their individual race timers. You keep going until we say that you're done. Don't quit, don't weaken, with A Noob working his way to his gate onto another one. 3 laps in 2:09, so he has about 21 seconds to get to the gate, so he's just going to make it smooth and get his 4 in as well. Remember the average, 37.49 on your 4 laps to get your 5th. Right now, A Noob is averaging 43.1, and, well, he's going to be qualified right now, and he can raise the bar after there. That's smart racing. Looking at Falcon X running in the 3 here, and Archie FPV still in the 2. There's that throwback to UTT3, part of the journey here for Archie FPV. He's up at the top of the Sky Gate as we get ready to wave a checkered flag here for A Noob in just a few moments. He's around our friends at Horizon Hobby and across the line 4 laps in 250.2. That is going to put him, I think, 2nd at the moment. I think about 2nd, if not 3rd at worst, as that master race clock has expired for everyone. Race until you're done. Falcon X, You got onto that Falcon X is done. 3 laps in 2:47. Archie FPV, our last one to finish. He got onto that last lap. As we watch him go to our TBS checker gate, that's it in all. 4 laps in 3:14 for Archie FPV. 4 laps 2:50 for a noob, and that is going to slide him unofficially right now into the number 2 spot behind Kabla. That was qualifier 1, heat 4 in the books. Let's get ready for heat number 5.
Introducing the Strix AUK 210, an extremely durable, lightweight X-frame packed full of great features, such as the machined aluminum camera mount. It has Cricut VTX integration, and all hardware is included. One of the main benefits of this frame is the true X geometry, which makes it well balanced, easy to fly, tuned, and very predictable. This is an incredibly durable frame, so Strix is offering a lifetime warranty on the bottom plate. Visit StrixRC.com for more information and to find a dealer near you.
All right, so we're getting prepped for the next race here, so got a few people on deck getting ready to roll.
Yeah, so what we saw in that last race was Zachary, he ripped out a 40-second lap, which is fast. Yesterday we were here in 37s and 38s.
Yeah. So, and again, we've got some today too, right? So, but a very narrow, small amount of groups. Let's see here. We got Jordan Timken, who broke actually 37, went to 36. We had, I can't remember all the names here, but Night Fury's below 40 seconds. Let me pull up my sheet. Hold on one second. What do we have? I don't have my computer here, so it's kind of hard for me to do that. So where are the brackets? Are these filled out? No. All righty. I'll come up with that later, but we've only had like 3 or 4 pilots that break that 40-second mark, and that's kind of the holy grail if you're going to push on and be the top 5, I think, in my mind. So,
I think so. You're going to need to run 40.5s to make the top 16.
Yep.
And don't forget, with this format, what we're doing is this is a staggered start, which means everybody gets their own clock.
Right.
Now let's explain that, because I'm not sure a lot of people understand that.
Good point.
And we discussed this during organizational meetings about this format. And the original concept was, let's not throw a new concept onto pilots, because if you ever run it locally, they may not know how to do that.
Right.
Shannon, who signs everybody up, he's like, well, this is a standard format for racing. I'm like, I hear you, Shannon.
Yeah.
But we haven't done it.
Are we ready for that, right?
Yeah, if you do it locally, then we can bring everybody up, because not everybody came from that world. But when you get your own clock, it takes the pressure off.
Right. Especially on the launch, right? And then not everybody's vying for the whole shot. Right. You know what I mean? So less crashing in the first gate. All right. Looks like Scully's on.
3 minutes, 1 second since I hit save on the last race. That is when MultiGP is out, just spitting them out. And you know, James Velo is starting things off at the serious, or the finalists, the top 12 and the top 16 from the list over here yesterday. 60 heats in 3 hours, 55 minutes. 60 heats of 8. We were pounding them out. I mean, there were more unmanned aerial vehicle, vessel, drone, whatever you want to call them, more flights here yesterday than there were in all of America when all of a sudden DJI went public. You know what I mean? Like, we just went absolutely crazy yesterday, and we continue here pounding out the heats and making it happen as we are still chasing the big time of 4 laps in 2:46. Kabla right now at the top of the leaderboard. A noob right now behind him, the number 2 spot, about 4 seconds back, as we're going to open things up with some hot laps, guys. Matt Air with a 41.9, Garza with a 43.1, Jet with a 43.8, Miguel Valderez with a 45.0, Jaws with a 46.3, Noah G with a 51.8. We started with 7, and we are down to 6, and we lost Realize Frank, but it's only qualifier number 1. Regroup, refocus, come back, make it happen in qualifiers 2 and 3. Matt Air, he's the young gun that a lot of people have been talking about. He's been silent this weekend. He's over at the DR1 section, and he is right now got a little bit of company running with him, and his company just crashed out behind him. So here we go on to lap number 3. We go with Matt Air, a 41.6 that time around. Gars is caught up right with him, Jet right behind him. So Matt Air, Gars, Jet battling out for track position, and they're only on the clock separated by 2.8 seconds. Miguel Lavanda is Gars right now in the number 4 spot here in heat number 5. Look at the clock right now, about 50 seconds, 5-0 remaining on the master race clock. Madare is fast. That young gun here at the MultiGP National Championship. Someone's in front of him. I think he's already starting to lap traffic. No, Gars gone ahead of him, but we're still pushing through that 180-degree carousel. There's the jinx as Gars gets a little loosey-goosey. Madare gets a little loosey-goosey, and we're going to put him on here 30 seconds on the master race clock. So we put them on to lap number 3. Will they get 4 in? Guaranteed at the pace that they are on here at the moment. As we look over to our TBS start-finish line, there goes Madare and Gars right with them. They battle it out for track position, crossing over a hair apart, but they're 2.6 seconds separated. Everyone racing against their own individual race clock, so we're watching on the screens 4 and 7 battling it out right now. Gars is up high. Look up to the skies. There goes Gars right behind him, giving chase. To the left-hand side of the sky bridge is Madare. They've traded up for track position as they're using each other as pace cars here in heat number 5 as that master race clock is about to expire, but I think we're going to put them on to one more lap as we have Noah G. You are done 3 laps in 2:57. Race the gate and land only if I tell you to, as that master race clock has expired, but it comes down to math. Gars, you're done 4 laps 2:49. That's in the top 5. Jet, you're done 4 laps 2:52. That is in the top 5. Wow, heat 5 in the top 5, and still one to finish. Course is live, guys. That is Jaws. Jaws is going to get his 4 laps in as well. Over to the throwback to UTT2, the tsunami section, over to our Horizon Hobby. Big whoop chicane to our checker. Let's take them. There's Jaws, 4 laps 3:14, and heat number 5 is in the books. We're going to do some tabulation.
What a race, man. What a race.
Yeah, some
Love
good
it.
stuff.
Love it.
Good chases. You know, that's one thing I love about having
head-to-head.
the top pilots competing, you know, boiling it down to all those skilled top fast pilots is you get more vying for position through the gates and less crashing.
Yeah, you get the tight grouping and you get it head-to-head. It's like, who's going to take him? Is he going to overtake? Oh, he missed a turn. The next guy's through.
Right.
And then, of course, when somebody is passed, I call it the eye of the tiger.
Yeah,
like,
man.
No, he did not just pass me. I'm taking it.
And then you just floor it, right? You're trying to go after him.
You got to punch it, man. That's how you race.
So you got to measure the, like Greg Novosad would say, risk with reward, right? You don't want to overshoot, you know, and go too fast. Now, Night Fury, that's the best thing you can do to him is you put somebody in front of him and he's going to floor it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
like
just
you would not
opens
believe.
it
So
my team pilot Van Gogh, he's the same way.
Is he? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
If
like,
he gets past, it's like nope. Throttle stick gets buried
all
at the top.
The way.
And that's it.
Yep.
That's
no percentages left,
nope,
right?
Nothing left.
So I mean, that's good stuff. We love good racing. This course has turned out to be, you know, a lot of people predicted, like Joe Scully said earlier, that this was going to be a crash fest course based on how it's laid out and the complexity aspect.
Oh yeah,
but
it's
you know
a
what?
beautiful course, and I'm surprised it's not really that bad.
It's not bad. I mean,
these pilots are amazing.
But you know what? It boils down to is accessibility to practice rounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They crash at first, or they're very conservative at first, allows them a ramp up,
Right.
but they get comfortable to the point where they're actually breaking 40 seconds. I mean, that's
Well, I
pretty
was
incredible.
hearing yesterday some of these guys got 9 and 10 battery packs.
Yeah,
9
no
and 10
kidding.
practice
Right.
rounds. It's
I mean,
amazing.
I mean, some of those guys don't even do that in a regular weekend.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
so,
exactly.
yeah. 15 to 20.
15 to 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
25 was the top.
I thought it was
25.
9 to 10. That's
All right,
unheard of.
correction. So, guys, if you heard Alex
Unheard of.
earlier, he was thinking 4 to 5. It's 25 packs in a day was the high average. So that was
Wow.
pretty good. Yeah,
Wow.
unheard of at an organized public event with 140 pilots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
so,
That's unheard of.
Yep. So good stuff. We're
yeah.
doing things right here. You know what I mean? But there's some things that we still have challenges with. You know,
Absolutely.
like we talk about video and
Yeah,
technology
I mean, you're always
in
going
the
to have
mix.
some problems. I mean, honestly, this is not necessarily the perfect format. You've got
No.
so many pilots, so much going on.
Right.
And, you know, we just saw that we could do 16 in the
Yep.
air at once. Well,
Let's
they didn't
talk
see
about
that
these
per-
antennas that you had. All right.
So the part of the equation is putting the pilots in the right place. The other
Right.
half is the equipment.
Yep.
And what I was talking about, putting them in the corner using a directional antenna, on,
Yep.
this is the crosshair. This is what everybody was using. And on the side of the box, you're going to see the radiation plot and the axial ratio plot. So, and what that does, that gives you an idea of where you can fly in relation to the antenna. And that's one thing that's largely missing from most manufacturers. They're not telling you what the radiation plot
Yep.
is.
'Cause they don't know, a lot of them.
Right, exactly. And I equate buying an antenna with a radiation without a radiation plot,
Yeah.
like buying a car without knowing what it looks like.
Right.
Because that's everything.
Sure.
So what we're doing
That
is
gets you
we're
results, right?
yeah. Well, so what we're doing is we're taking this antenna and we're projecting it down the field.
Yep.
So, so it covers the field, but doesn't cover anywhere else. So
Right.
these guys over here can run, and that antenna isn't listening. It's listening to that
Right.
track.
Exactly.
And that's the
kind
key.
of that swatch, that barrel, right? You know what I mean?
And the other half is axial ratio. This is something I didn't mention. When we say right or left hand,
Yep.
we're telling about the dominant rotation. But the truth is there's nothing that's truly purely one hand or the other.
Right.
They exert a little bit of each rotation. And the dominant side is the handedness. So what we do is it's called axial ratio. It's the ability to rotate the signal purely in one direction. A 1.0 is perfection.
Right.
0.5 is the limit of circularity.
Okay.
What we found is you need an axial ratio of 0.6 or greater.
So,
which
folks
is-
at home, 0.6
Yeah, right.
is the secret sauce.
So
that's it.
on the side of the antenna box, it's not about gain. It's about the other side. The other side of that box shows the axial ratio. That axial ratio, of course, this is 0.98. I kind of stacked the deck in my favor,
That's
you know?
right. Yeah, right.
You could do it with lower axial ratio.
Yeah.
You could do it with a helical.
Right.
We had crosshairs, so that's what we used.
Yep.
Helicals would work.
Okay.
High axial ratio omnis would work. TBS. One guy used a TBS Triumph.
Okay.
It worked.
Okay.
One guy used an Airblade on his goggles,
gotcha.
and it worked.
Okay.
Most people use the crosshair.
Yep.
The crosshair is going to give you better video.
Yep,
'cause
yep.
It amplifies your signal. So that's the other half of the equation. You need to have a good rotation on that signal, because if you don't,
Yep.
you are going to step on other people's video. Because remember what I was saying earlier about if I'm transmitting the opposite direction, you're going to see it at 2 milliwatts. Well, if I have poor rotation, my signal
Yep.
looks stronger and stronger to yours because you can't reject it.
Yep.
And the way I equate axial ratio, I always talk football.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
if you're throwing a quarterback's throwing a pass, and that football is a nice tight spiral,
Yeah, right.
the receiver's going to catch it. All right, but
Travels,
if it's
yeah.
wobbly,
It's more
not.
efficient and effective,
Right.
right?
So a wobbly football is low axial ratio. That tight
Absolutely.
spiral
Yep.
is high axial ratio.
Yep.
That ability to rotate purely.
Gotcha.
And that's really
Zero in on its target, right?
Right.
Yep.
And that's what it not only gives the receiver the ability to receive the signal well,
Yep.
but gives other receivers the ability to reject channels that aren't their own.
Gotcha.
So-
well, this just in, by the way. We got
Okay.
the new video, all right?
You do?
So we're going to cue it up, and we're going to see the second race, which
Okay, the one
has
where he
all
actually did it.
16. all right?
Excellent. Let's see it.
All right. Cueing it up right now. Thank you.
They did it. They got the launch. They got the
Holy
launch.
smokes.
That was quick.
quick.
Let's see it again.
All
Come
right,
on, let's see it again. I was
One more
watching.
time. swarm.
Oh yeah.
That
It's
literally
beautiful.
looked like a bunch of mosquitoes.
Oh,
I
it's
mean-
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh my
now,
God.
here's the thing.
That's awesome.
Imagine that being the norm.
Yeah, right.
At a race.
Yeah, no kidding.
Twice. Chris was just saying. They got 25 packs.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
50 packs.
Yeah.
50 battery
Oh,
packs.
yeah,
People
no
don't
kidding.
fly that in a month.
Right, no
And
kidding.
You can do
yeah.
that in one day at a race.
Unless you're Brain Drain or Night Fury, right? You
well,
do that in
yeah,
a day,
those guys are
so.
a little obsessive.
Yeah, I know.
But
so.
just imagine that. We can do this now.
right?
We
no kidding.
can do this. It's been proven.
Yeah,
We
makes
can do it.
makes for some exciting racing without
Exactly.
a doubt. So,
Exactly.
so where can we find more about your wonderful antennas? Tell us,
Well,
Alex.
my website has
Yes.
all the information. I have videos that show
Yes,
you
you
how to
do.
use them, how to select the proper antenna. Of course, it's all on YouTube. but-
Educating
yeah,
you, that's
right.
part of the sport, right?
if you go to my website, there are 2 videos: how to select a transmitter antenna,
Yep.
how to select a receiver antenna. It'll walk you through 3 minutes. And then, of course, every product I have
Yep.
has at least 1, if not 2 or 3 videos explaining how to get the most out
Sure.
of it, how to
Yep.
really refine it.
I've watched your
to have the
videos
best
for
experience.
years, man. You've
Yeah.
you've definitely come a long way, without a
Yeah.
doubt. Definitely a pioneer in FPV racing. Not only FPV racing, but FPV in general, right?
Yeah, and
So,
we've also done something else.
show us.
One of the things that Team Big Whoop brought us
Okay.
was the tiny one.
Ah, the tiny whoop. Yeah.
And here, the problem we found was that people's video, they're flying indoors. It's weak.
Right.
Okay?
Mhm.
And that antenna keeps getting bent up.
Yes.
So guess what we did?
All right.
We went ahead and modified the
love
tiny
it.
whoop cam
Check it out.
with a proper cloverleaf.
Yes, sir.
And we also, it's not rigid. This thing bends around.
What?
So it's not going
Let
to
me
get
show
damaged
it
in a
real
crash.
quick. I know you can't see that out
So-
in the distance.
So we
but
kept it on a
it
flexible
is.
cable, so
That's
it's
the key.
not subject to so much stress. And you also notice
Yep.
it's sturdier when you
Yeah,
press
right.
on the lobes.
Yeah.
So this thing won't break as easily. And
Yep.
for those that already have a tiny whoop,
Man,
we're
it's plug and play,
manufacturing the
right?
antennas.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can just solder it on very
Really?
quickly and easily. We're going to have them tinned and ready to go.
Man, I can't wait.
But, we are making these ready to go. I know that several vendors have them already.
Uh-huh.
Mark, my operations manager, when he said, we ought to do that.
Yep.
And I said, that sounds like a great plan.
That's
He's like,
awesome.
how many should we buy?
Yeah.
I don't want to buy
Millions. I'm
two.
just
So
kidding.
he said, do we want to do 100? I
Yeah.
went, you know what? Let's go for it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Those 100 were sold on the first order.
Oh my God!
They were
You
gone.
gotta be kidding me. That's
And
incredible.
so people are now asking for left hand. We're going, well, we need to get more cameras.
They got to be race
Yeah.
ready, man. Let's do
Yeah.
16 tiny whoops at a time, man. That
we
would
can
be
do
incredible.
that.
Let's do
and
it.
that's the beauty of it.
That's
we
the
can
next
do
race.
That.
Alex Grieve, you heard it first. He's going to do a 16-man tiny whoop race.
Yes.
Jesse
Absolutely.
Perkins, you're hearing this, pal? Our buddies at Tiny Whoop.
Let's do it.
Let's do it at our next Drone House 5.0. Right.
Let's do it.
That's what's going to happen.
We'll have remember right hand and left hand.
exactly.
Bands A and E.
Yep.
Odd numbers, left hand, even numbers, right hand, or vice versa. Doesn't
I
matter.
love it.
And just keep the pilots back from the track a little bit.
Dude, you got me excited.
Yeah,
Come on.
I want to see this I want to see this happen.
Yep.
Not just once or twice. I
Let's-
want to see this happen all
Hey,
the time.
I mean, let's do it on a consistent basis. Why not? If it's
Yeah, why not?
possible, let's make it happen. Everybody thought it wasn't possible. People thought.
Well, I wouldn't say anybody.
yeah, well,
I couldn't have
a lot
done it
of
without the 16 volunteers.
Absolutely.
And those 16
Shout out to
volunteers
those pilots.
believed in it.
Yep. Mhm.
They absolutely
And if they
believed
weren't
in it.
believers before, they're absolutely believers today.
They believed that I could do it.
Yep.
They believed it could be done. And the beauty of that is that not only did it happen, but everybody said it worked great. Like
Yep.
the video was awesome.
Yep.
And that was the greatest thing.
Yep.
Not only being successful, but the pilots were raving about it.
Hey, we got a question from G2HO. Ask if Alex is still flying a SEMA.
Yes.
that what it was?
It's like asking if the Pope is Catholic. That
All
SEMA
right.
X5, it's my dog's favorite toy.
Is that right?
And my dog's half
And it
Greyhound, half
survives?
German Shepherd.
Okay.
And I need to exercise her. And, well, let's just say that she has more endurance than me.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
if I say chase the copter, that
Yep.
dog is at my feet, tail wagging, and she groans. She actually
Is that right?
complains.
She wants it. Right. I love it.
She gives me a story about why I should be playing with her right now.
Right, right.
And we did an experiment last week. We
Okay.
my girlfriend and I just got done eating a steak dinner.
Okay.
And the dog's sitting there begging.
Right.
And so I got up, went to my lab,
Yep.
and said, Kahlua, do you want to chase the copter? The dog left the table.
No, really?
I powered up the transmitter, makes a beep, and my girlfriend tried to force feed her steak.
All right, wouldn't happen. Huh?
Wouldn't
She's
happen.
like, no,
Wasn't
I'm
happening.
busy.
That's.
So your dog's
Oh,
first
yeah.
love is the SEMA. I love
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's
So
good.
even my dog
Yep.
likes quadcopters.
All right, let's talk right here. Slippy Toad, Dennis Forbes. What do you recommend, 3 or 4 lobe on goggles?
The 5 lobe. The 5
Or-
lobe
yeah,
is a
5,
mad
sorry.
mushroom. Is a very uniform radiation pattern, and
Right.
that is what I recommend on the goggles.
All
The
right.
3 lobe really is meant to be a transmit antenna.
Gotcha.
You can use it.
So
as
there is a
receive.
difference, right?
Yeah, the it's
Yeah.
radiation plot.
Yep.
The 3 lobe was meant to be a transmit antenna. It works very well as a receive antenna. In
Okay.
fact, I still use the 3 lobe
you
as
really?
a receive.
On the wing?
Wing, quad,
Yeah, yeah,
anything.
anything.
It's just what's available. The difference is maybe 5 to 10%.
Right.
But it truly, the 3 lobe was meant to be a transmit. The 5 lobe was meant to be a
Gotcha.
receive.
Okay.
But the truth is, when I'm running a crosshair,
Yeah.
it's a 5 lobe on transmit.
Oh, really?
Because when I'm doing that,
on transmit.
because
Okay.
the 5 lobe allows me better clarity when I do things like violate the Fresnel zone, fly behind objects, fly inside of buildings. The 5 lobe is just a little bit better, and I'd like to push my video link to the point where it's just about complete static.
Oh, wow.
You know, I went to a park, and for the first time in years, I pushed my link to complete static. I was a mile away,
Yep.
flying down a tree corridor, and I couldn't get out of the canopy.
Don't
I was
try this at
dedicated
home.
to it. I'm like, well, hopefully I'll make it to the field.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
a mile out shooting through the woods,
Yep.
it's not going to happen.
Oh, well.
So I ended up wrecking it, and it took
Hopefully
10
you had
minutes.
telemetry and GPS you could find it, maybe,
No,
right?
no, I don't
no
run
way.
any of
Yeah.
that. I just
No
crashed
extra
into a
controls.
tree, I
Oh,
think.
well.
And I had an audience that was standing in the tree corridor watching, and I didn't know
Oh,
about.
really?
And
That's
they were
funny.
like, "How do you do that?"
Yeah.
Like, long story.
That's funny.
It
That's
was
funny.
fun.
So you can find out more. Oh, let's see here.
We got
Slippy
another
Toad. Yeah. Can you compare the TBS Triumph, your design, to your VAS antennas, right?
Well, yeah. In fact, when I talk about antenna selection guide
Yep.
earlier,
Yep.
that guide does explain the difference between all of the antennas.
And that guide can be found on videoaerialsystems.com. Look at that right there. So we didn't mention that earlier, but that's
Right.
definitely the website.
Well, and the TBS Triumph was a jack of all trades, master of none.
Right.
It was meant to do everything well, but excel at nothing in particular.
Gotcha.
Whereas every antenna that I manufacture excels.
Who we got right there? Got a photobomb here.
And I'm
Trappy
getting
with
photobombed by
yeah.
Mr. TBS himself.
He's the man. Team Black Sheep. Yep. That's it.
Yeah, you know.
You're next on deck. Don't go away. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. It's been a pleasure to work with him. And,
Has it really? Good.
And you know,
good team,
here's
right?
the other side of it.
Yep.
Understand, the TBS Triumph is both of us.
Yes.
And that it's going to compete with my own product line.
Right.
And I knew
Yeah,
that.
sure, that's
but
fine.
the thing is, I had to work with somebody that was trustworthy
Right. Mm-hmm.
because I needed that jack of all trades that could be mass produced
Yep.
in China, because all mine are made in the USA. And FPV wanted that low profile, light, high performance antenna that just kind of
Right.
fit everything.
Yep.
But I had to go to somebody who wouldn't rip me off and undercut me.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
Team Black Sheep was that group. And the truth is, we have no written contract.
Wow, man.
It's all word of mouth.
Hey, you know what?
That's the type of
so the
people you wanna
day
work
and
with.
age of a good business handshake is not dead.
It's not
That's
dead.
good. That's
At least not with Team Black Sheep.
trust, right? You give
It-
people
it's
trust, and it's what
truly
they do
trust.
with it, right?
And the truth is
It's good to know.
I take Trappy's word as,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it-
as gold.
his word's worth $1 million.
Sure, right? Good.
He is the type of guy who, if he gives you his word,
Yep.
it doesn't matter how much money he loses. He sticks by it.
Yeah, that's
and I
good.
like that.
That's
I
good.
really appreciate that.
Excellent. Well, that's awesome. So we got one more here. This is the final one. Random Moon FPV. Does the 5 lobe potentially cause reception issues, spillover for any of the dudes, all right, or dudettes flying with you?
Well,
I wonder.
no, actually it doesn't, because spillover is on the transmit side.
Yep.
And it has everything to do with the transmitter.
Got
so
it.
it has to do with bandwidth control. You're
Okay.
talking about spillover. It's the non-bandwidth controlled amplifiers,
Yep,
which
yep.
are usually found in 600 milliwatt
Gotcha.
transmitters.
Yep, right. Mhm.
So as long as you don't have a really high power transmitter,
Yep.
you have no spillover.
Right.
But it doesn't matter what transmitter or receiver you've got when it comes to the antenna. The
Yep.
antenna's always going to do the same thing. The transmitter is responsible for the spillover.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So-
Good. Well,
How far
so-
I got with my pro site.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nadave, what? I'm not going to even, Interstein?
Right.
Okay, if I butchered your name, I'm sorry. He's asking how far I got with my pro sight. The truth is, I made a long-range antenna, but I have not yet tested it.
I love it.
I just was preparing for this event, so I didn't have a chance.
Yep.
So
we can see that in another video later, right?
They laid down a challenge. They said they did 3.9 kilometers.
Really?
Which means I've got to go 4 kilometers or
Do
more.
it, dude.
So
You
guess
gotta do
what,
it.
guys? It's on.
Yeah, dude.
Don't forget that.
I love it.
It's on.
Don't
If
challenge
I don't
Alex.
make
He'll
4
go to the
kilometers this
grave
time,
trying to go
I'm gonna
for
do
it.
it the next
That's
time.
exactly.
I love a challenge.
Absolutely.
I
Well,
love a
Alex,
challenge.
good talking to you, man. Like always, we love the perspective into the technology that has to do with RF because it's such an integral part of what FPV racing is all about.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And you know what? One of the biggest compliments I can get is somebody coming to me and saying, man, thank you. I am loving FPV.
Yeah.
That's the best compliment I
That's
will
great,
ever
man.
get is when somebody comes to me and say thank you
Absolutely.
for allowing me to enjoy this hobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never get tired of that.
Cool. Well, that's good. Well, thanks for checking in with us, and hopefully we might be able to talk to you later as well.
Absolutely. Apparently, Chris tells me I am on deck to do another 16 pilots
Is that
all
right?
at once on the championship
No.
track. So I'm going to go get that set up.
All right. Well, we're going to have to try and live feed that. So then go out and work
Absolutely.
on that for us, please.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
So
you, sir.
guys, you're going to see a live feed
Yeah.
with 16 pilots on the track. If they all can take off,
Yep.
it will be 16 pilots in the air at once.
Catch it on live, FPVLive.tv, and you heard it here. So world record going to be broken today, all right?
Well, we
So
already broke it. This is
yeah.
just more the official
This
live.
is the
Yeah,
live.
This is the official
exactly.
live record breaking.
Without a doubt. So if you just tuned in, this is Todd Wall with FPVLive.tv. We're here at the 2016 MultiGP Drone Racing Championships. Thanks for tuning in. And
Wow, buddy. Is that right on that screen, Todd Wall? We're going to be able to see that video on FPVLive.tv? I missed it yesterday. That was probably the biggest disappointment, aside from taking me to IHOP for dinner, where they don't serve beer. I missed that big 16 race. And if you got a chance to check out FPVLive.tv, guys, you can get on your phones right now and watch it. If you weren't over there where we when we flew 16 quads at the same time. Yeah, buddy, on the exact same, on A-band, E-band, at the exact same time, using one antenna on goggles. We're going to be able to see that on FPVLive.tv, guys. So log in right now if you want to watch it, because there's not enough room in their tent. As we go live on FPVLive.tv on Piazza, right there, Pizza. He's over the DR1 section. As, wow, just watched a huge pass in the gate right there as MC Skies got passed by Flying Bear. As I think they just traded up positions. Man, this is just a battle throwdown showdown here on heat number 6. There looks to be about another 90 seconds on that master race clock. Envy Astro with a 46.7. Dr. C with a 50.3. Piazza with a 51.7. Flying Bear with a 53.4. MC Skies with a 53.6. Those are their opening laps. And again, to get the 5 in, we need 37.49 as the average. And we're going to see how the average can be.
going through the corkscrew.
Lots of time on the clock, guys. I'm still with you. Just under 50 seconds on that master race clock as we are working on it right here. Wow. Flying Bear with a weird landing right there. Just wanted to set it down. He got a lap in. He's like, well, I got one in. I'll come back in round number 2 as we are watching on lap number 3, Dr. C, Pizza, and MC Skies onto lap number 3 as well. That's at the 151 mark. That'll give him another 39 seconds to do it. So he needs his best lap if he wants to get the 4 in, but at least, get the 3 in around number 1. Then maybe make some of those changes. Maybe change the camera angle. I don't know. It takes a weird angle to go through that ascent, descent. As we were watching on FPVLive.tv, there's MC Skies. I know Jen and the entire family watching online at home. There's the announcer, Jenks right there. Down he goes. If you go to Ready Made RC, and they will sell you a goggle cable that goes from your goggles into your earbuds, and it says to tune out Joe Scully while you're racing. You can get that at Ready Made RC, and he put that up there, and that just showed you why. Yeah, love the family there.
Okay.
So, Piazza, you're done 3 laps, 2:33.9. You got your 3 in. Dr. C, you're done 3 laps, 2:40.7. You got your 3 in. Right now, that's going to put you, I'm going to say, right about in our top 15 at the moment, as we still have a few live in the skies. And to wrap out lap number 3, he'll get his 3 in as well, is a guy who invented the earbud to turn out the commentator. There's MC Skies, 3 laps, 2:57. That is it in all. Let's go to your final heat in qualifier number 1. Race number 7 is coming up.
All right, we're back, and basically, actually, that was the first attempt.
That was the first
Yeah.
attempt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So-
we had a problem, and it wasn't video.
Right.
The problem was I backed the pilots so far away from their quads
Yeah.
that 3 people couldn't arm.
Arm, right.
And so they later moved up and got 2 of them in the air, and 1 person just had a problem and dropped out.
Right.
Apparently, we didn't. We've got some other videos of
Yeah,
all 16
right.
taking
the
off.
proof, right?
Yeah,
The actual
that
proof.
was the first run, and you'd think 16 pilots it would be a video problem.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it was a control problem.
How funny,
So
how
we
interesting.
had to move those 3 pilots that couldn't arm closer to the track.
Yep.
And I was surprised. They said the video was still good, as close as they were to the track to get their quads
Yeah.
to arm, but
Yep.
it was successful.
Good.
So hopefully we'll get the
So
actual successful.
would-
That was the beta.
That was
We
cool,
actually
though.
did it.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so that was ultimately, I mean, if you counted it, there was only 2 left on the pad. We had a 1 late launch in that deal. So if it was 16 originally, 14 at least, that's
Well,
still a
actually
world
it was
record,
15,
no matter.
because one of them did actually take off and
Gotcha.
finish.
So 15, and then we did 16,
Then we did
right?
16, and
so
it was all 16
at the
all
same
at
time. That's
once.
amazing, right?
And one of the keys too was I eliminated that first gate.
Yep.
Because that's where everybody
Yeah,
seems to
the whole
wreck.
shot will kill
Yeah,
you.
right.
Yep.
Well,
especially when you're doing 16 at a time.
Yeah,
It's bad
8
enough doing 4.
pilots, 8 pilots, they wreck there.
Yeah, right.
8 pilots always.
No
You have
kidding.
2 or 3 at that gate. So I eliminated that and the first turn.
Yep.
And the reason for that is because it's a swarm. It's a madhouse.
Yep, without a doubt.
And you know what the great part was?
Tell me.
Everybody finished at least 1 lap.
Hey,
Everybody
all
had
right.
1 lap.
16
And,
in the air, finishing 1 lap. That's pretty good.
And
I would call that a world record.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But the truth is, I can't take all the credit because those guys, it was an off the cuff. Everybody knew I was going to do it, but
Yep.
I really didn't plan for it.
Yep.
I just had. Well, looks like we're going live.
Yes, we are.
See the
Another
race.
race.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Perfect. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, buddy. We don't play.
This is
So I got Claymore. Who else did you add into this, guys? Who else did you add in this? Whoa. Who did you add into this?
They probably changed transponder.
Oh, yeah, the guy came in and you wrote it down.
Oh yeah. No, that's not it.
No?
No. You guys are changing quads, I bet.
1205. You don't know who it is.
All right. No.
Who did you add to this? This is Heat 7.
Heat 7. We added Claymore.
I got Claymore. Claymore is going to be, I'll have to tell you his lap time. Oh, 2381 is Claymore.
Okay, 2381 is Claymore.
But I don't know who this 1205 is, guys.
2381.
Race day in quads with a 42.4 starting things off, and we got a 45.9 for Warm Trooper, Nubs with a 47.6, Wilkie FPV with a 50.7, Fast Gixxer with a 52.7, as we still have a few in the air here as we get ready to bring them across. There is One Red Wing. And with a 68 and 9 on that one.
Oh, we got somebody hit the down gate. He's up. He's going back around. They don't get that angle down. That's hard. 1205. That down gate is tough.
That was the missing one, right?
1205.
And then flaring out. I mean, if you got sag in your battery, you're screwed.
No.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's why I don't think it'll go 5 laps.
I did it with
because
fixed
it'll
wing
get
this
in.
morning.
Oh,
I did it with the
you went
fixed
through
wing.
the down?
The down
Without crashing.
took me 4 times.
No.
I hit it 4 times, but I
I'm
got
still
it.
with you
It's
guys.
arrived
We are
before
just
time?
putting
Oh,
out
yeah.
fires,
Crazy.
not literally, just figuratively. And you
That's
guys are
awesome.
on fire. Race day quads on lap number 3. Nubs on lap number 3. Fast Gixxer on lap number 3. Another 45 seconds to go. Fast Gixxer will get on that 4-lap pace. Wilkie FPV, he's going to get his 3 in. He's about 10 seconds off of Fast
Uh-oh.
Gixxer
Nubs
is right on that
down.
line. There's
Warm
about
trooper
20
Nubs
seconds
down.
remaining on the master race clock, but most of our pilots
Oh.
here racing
He's up,
against
he's up,
their
he's up.
See,
own
he needs to go
individual
higher
race
and
clock.
dive
As
down
we
in.
got
There's
15
no way.
seconds
You can't go
left
straight
to
across.
You have to
go
get
as
some
we get
downward
set to
momentum.
roll him out. On to lap number 4, we took race day quad, so on to his last one we take him, averaging 44.18 on his 3 laps thus far, as we have still 2 in the air. Race day quads going up over the Sky Bridge and out and right behind him. Look at this long battle for track position. That is one red wing up high as he goes. He's going to get his 3 in. Race day quads will get his 4 in, and race day quads will be the first one that we're going to bring to our Team Black Sheep start finish line, our checkered line here, to see where he's going to sit here. Still chasing 4 laps, 2:46. Race day quads around Horizon Hobby 2 TBS, and 4 laps, 2:54 is where he sets it down. And that is going to do it here for qualifier round number 1, heat number 7.